Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment, it's a fast one. Lots to cover. Football. Going to give you each a question. Everybody's going to get about a minute or so. I will start with Jimmy Hyams down there because Tennessee has added a quarterback. Grad transfer Keller Christ from Stanford has come in, committed this week. Let's take a look at his numbers at Stanford. He's on the bottom there compared to Jarrett Garantano and Will McBride here in Knoxville last year. And, of course, remember, Tennessee also signed a three-star prospect, J.T. Shrout, out of California this year. But the three veteran guys, Jimmy, none of it knocks your socks off. Place your bet. Who's the starter come game one?
I'll place it with Chuck. That's where I go. I'm going to go with Garantano. I don't feel really comfortable either way with that. My next choice would probably be Keller Christ. Christ's completion percentage bothers me a little bit there. Garantano's, look, I know it's a different system, but at least he's been around his teammates for 2 years. Because of that, I'm going to give Garantano a slight edge.
Okay. All right. Bob Hodge. It sounds, well, actually, I'm jumping ahead. Let's get this one to Chuck next. Come on back. Can we get off the graphic? There we go. Chuck, talked a little last week about Trey Smith being out. You were less worried than anybody else here about him missing time. Let me see if I can scare you now.
Yes.
Tennessee on the offensive line without Trey Smith will have seven, or you could do it the other way too. You could do it 4 and 3. I could do lots of combinations. 7 scholarship offensive linemen, and 2 of those are freshmen for spring practice. That's all.
Right.
That's your rotation. 7 scholarship players. Now you're starting to be a little bit more worried about the offensive line?
Well, I mean, I think you have to be worried about the offensive line. I just wasn't as concerned about how this would impact Trey Smith as long as he's going to be healthy and ready to go. But you have to be, because I think this is the position on the team Jeremy Pruitt has to fix first to get Tennessee back. You've got 4 players coming in that you signed. I think you really got to look at your center and your guard, too, because that's where you've lost a ton of starts. So, yes, you have to be concerned about the offensive line overall.
They've been pushing their walk-ons to step up because they've got to use them.
Well,
trying to get them to gain 30 pounds or whatever to get them ready to take some reps.
And if you're down to 7, you can't afford a bump or a bruise or anything in spring practice. I mean, you're down to – it's rough. Let's leave it there. All right, Bob. Sounds like Butch Jones will take on an analyst's role. That's coaching rehab these days, at either Ohio State or Alabama. Alabama, that came out this week. Now, in case you're wondering, that would not get Tennessee off the hook in terms of his buyout because he wouldn't be making much money, if any, as an analyst at Ohio State or Alabama. I just want your thoughts on Butch Jones possibly going to Mr. Saban's finishing school for unwanted coaches.
And I tell you what, if you look at Mr. Saban's finishing school for unwanted coaches, it's been incredibly successful for those unwanted coaches. Steve Sarkisian's offensive coordinator in the NFL now. Obviously, we all know what happened with our favorite other guy. So I think this would be a great thing for Butch Jones because Butch Jones is a young man. I don't think people around the country – I think people around the country see him as the bad quotes, the stupid sayings. Yep. He needs rehabilitation, and this is a great place to do it. A guy, 1, you can learn some things, figure out what you did wrong before, and maybe change some things, and 2, you're going to do it under the radar.
Yeah, because they don't exactly talk to the assistants, much less the offensive analysts.
Right. But at either place, you'll be under the radar.
Okay. Mike, last one. Sounds like the work begins tomorrow. For those fans who've just stayed up at night and it's been destroying their world that Butch Jones was still on the back of that scoreboard over there. Coming down tomorrow, Neyland's going to stay, but it sounds like you're going to have Witten on one side and you're going to have Al Wilson on the other. Al Wilson, Jason Witten up on the big board. Mike Strange, you happy with those choices?
No, not really, and not because either of them is not deserving or would ever do anything to embarrass Tennessee, but I just think there's going to be a debate. There's going to be a debate. Well, people are going to say, why, if it's okay, why not Peyton? Why not this guy? Why not that guy? Put up a mural or checkerboards or something. Stick with Neyland and go with something else that you know that there won't ever be a reason to take it down for any reason and have to wait 6 months for a crane.
Picture of Smokey and General Neyland checkerboard end zone. All right, let me throw out one last thing here that I thought stood out to me during the post game yesterday. They were interviewing Admiral Schofield on SEC Network. They asked him about winning this title, and he was explaining how they did it. And it brings up another former Vol coach there, Derek Dooley. Admiral Schofield said we continued to water the bamboo. So somewhere Derek Dooley had to have been smiling that the bamboo finally shot up. It wasn't his program, and it was a decade later, but that bamboo
But he
finally.
left his bamboo here.
He left the bamboo here, and it finally shot up. But anyway, bamboozled. I could not believe when I heard that. Okay, when we come back, Mark Pankratz and I are going to talk about Rick Barnes. We're going to talk about his recruiting. Going to show you some numbers that might surprise you regarding him and Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart was Texas was spending on the young, up-and-coming big. They spent the money. Tennessee got the leftovers. Let's see how that's working out. Come on back.